Washington, D.C. is not our capital, and the United States Constitution we're under right now is not the real Constitution. And the real Constitution exists, and it has been preserved. But what we're under now is not the real Constitution, and Washington, D.C. is not our capital. Our capital is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the real Constitution is locked away somewhere.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You learn something new every day. And that's why we're here. We're learning from the Honorable Von Helton as he teaches us thus and so. I'm a follower of Von Helton. My name is Monty Corbell, and this is Response to Morning Coffee. Now, as you can see, I was responding there to Morning Coffee 116. And that's the earliest episode of Morning Coffee I can find. Now, it's been about 7 months since I've made a video for this series. And some stuff has happened with Von Helton since I made an episode for this series, which is why I've been cautious to continue. You see, Von Helton's housing status has changed. No longer is he living in his late mother's double-wide trailer in Kentucky, or where he was prior to that, his single-wide trailer just down the road. No, now he is on the road in his truck with his dog, Sharpie, going from state to state. I'm not even sure where he is anymore. And I'm not even sure what's going on with his Morning Coffee series. You see, the last episode we had on Odyssey.com, on his Odyssey page, was Morning Coffee 411. Then, when he became unhoused, he went to New Jersey and lived with his friend John Gishala in his car from June 2025 to August 2025, where they made a spin-off series which only had 6 episodes called Evening Coffee. And now he made his own YouTube channel, Von Helton, which he swore from ever using YouTube again. And his Morning Coffee series has now started from episode 1. We're not doing 412, 413. His YouTube channel isn't even Von Helton, it's Mayor McCheese. And so these are turbulent times. And if you're anything like me, you want to try to get grounded again. We want to have a concrete understanding of Von Helton, and I think the best way we can do that during these times is to try to go back as far as we can. The furthest I can go back is Morning Coffee 116. I don't know where 115 is. I don't know where episode 1 is. The original episode 1, not the one on the Mayor McCheese YouTube channel. But I think going back is going to help us get a better understanding of how we got here, who Von Helton is, and really stabilize ourselves in learning from the Honorable Von Helton. And so Morning Coffee 116 has guests John Gishala, who I mentioned prior, M4 Shadow, who is friends with Von Helton for 20 years, moved to Belize from the United States with 9 people in 2013 to start a commune. And it's an interesting episode. It's in October of 2022, October 25th, actually, which is Von Helton's birthday. And they're talking about the 2022 midterm elections and how ancient structures don't look like they were built with ancient technology. But Von Helton brings up something interesting. And these are the types of tidbits we like to learn from him as he teaches us thus and so. And Von Helton talks about the book of Job. So in the book of Job, Job receives his lost fortunes by double of what he lost. And Von Helton says in paganism, it's even better because there's the Wiccan threefold law. Now, I think it's interesting that von Helton is bringing up paganism at this time, even in 2022, because von Helton was no longer a pagan. He was definitely no longer a Christian, but he was no longer a pagan, although it seems he's still interested in paganism a little bit. At this time, von Helton had his own religion. We know it now as freedom religion. He doesn't name it freedom religion until Morning Coffee 118, which is in November of 2022. We're in October now. And so I think that's really interesting that he's kind of dabbling back and forth between these belief systems. And while he's on the topic of receiving what he has lost by double, as told in the book of Job, he mentions that maybe he can be like a black comedian who's on stage and said, "We was kings." I'll play the clip for you now of him saying this.
Because I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, I I could be like that comedian on stage. What was that there was a black comedian guy. "We was kings," or something like that. And I don't know if I was a king or not, but I know I'm destined for something because God said so. So we'll see what that is.
Also in Morning Coffee 116, von Helton teaches us that in 2015, Lord Jacob Rothschild declared Vladimir Putin a threat to New World Order. This resulted in Russia teaming up with China, Saudi Arabia, and Iran to start a gold standard, according to von Helton. Bringing up Iran led von Helton to mention the Masa Amini protests in Iran in 2022. As von Helton characterized these protests as the Persians pushing to restore Persia from Iran, which von Helton says this would be very good for paganism. Now in Morning Coffee 117, this is the next episode in November 14th, 2022, we get a guest appearance from Candace. Now, if you're a von Helton scholar like myself, you will be familiar with Candace, as she is a woman from Taiwan and was at one point a romantic interest of von Helton. And so I'm going to play now a clip from this episode so we can familiarize ourselves with Candace.
Microsoft Edge, okay, and Microsoft Edge, if you go to a suspicious website, Microsoft Edge will actually warn you. They'll say, "Hey, this is suspicious." But then on top of that, I got Total AV, which is an antivirus program, and then they warn you if you're and if a phishing website attacks your computer, Total AV will block it. It'll block it. So Total AV is really good. I can't speak highly enough of it.
Do you have a physical gun in your house?
I have numerous weapons. Well, I did have until the Frost stole them from me, but I got to steal them back, or I got to get them back. I'm going to go to the court and find out what they want to do. And hopefully the court will give me back my guns.
Oh, okay.
Now, in this clip, we hear von Helton mention the Frosts. Who are the Frosts? The Frosts, as I understand, are not direct relatives of von Helton, but rather relatives of an ex-husband of his late mother. You guys can correct me on that if that isn't accurate. But the Frosts used to live in Ohio, where von Helton at one time lived, and then followed von Helton to live in Kentucky, right on the same road as he did. And according to von Helton, the Frosts had allegedly negatively impacted his and his mother's lives. And so I'm going to play another clip here that's going to help us better understand how the Frosts have impacted von Helton and his late mother. And we can also gather some potential insight for von Helton's founding of his own religion, freedom religion, here in which he mentions the gods and goddesses of Freedom Religion. And this is a clip from Morning Coffee 118.
Why didn't the Christian God protect my mother from the cross of stealing every dime she had? You realize that I would go into that house over there when Mom was still in it, and she would literally cry. She would literally sob tears and saying, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money to do anything. They took all my money. What God allows that to happen to an old person? What God allows that, folks? Huh? You think the gods I serve would let that happen? Fuck no. That person would drop dead. The person would drop dead right in front of me. And I wouldn't have to lay a finger on them. It'd be the gods that did it, not me. What have the gods said from day fucking one? You stay the fuck out and let us handle it. Isn't that what they said? Yeah. I'm on record for that. And believe me, it's not for me not wanting to get involved. I tell you.
Morning Coffee 118 aired on November 24th of 2022. In this episode, Von Helton reminds us that he used to be a street evangelist. He goes on to say that this is something that his haters and YouTube trolls fail to mention when describing his history. But here at Response to Morning Coffee, we honor the Honorable Von Helton as he teaches us thus and so. And so we're not going to leave that out. And you can hear it in his words here in this clip as he tells you a story from his days as a street evangelist.
I got into a minor fender bender with a semi truck. And I started street evangelizing the semi truck driver. And he literally leapt into the back seat window of a police cruiser to get away from me. I thought, that's damn odd. Why would he run away? Wouldn't he be compelled to embrace Christ and become a Christian? I thought that was really interesting. Don't you?
So this concludes today's Response to Morning Coffee. Like I said, I would like to go back further than 2022 in regards to Von Helton's Morning Coffee series. But if that's not possible, then we will continue with where we left off as we push to understand Von Helton and his teachings even further. This concludes my response to Von Helton's Morning Coffee.